Martin Van Buren, the 8th President of the United States, was a pivotal figure in early American politics. Born on December 5, 1782, in Kinderhook, New York, Van Buren was the first president who was not of British descent, being of Dutch heritage. His father, Abraham Van Buren, was a tavern owner and farmer, and his mother, Maria Hose, was a homemaker. Growing up in a rural community, Martin was educated at local schools and quickly developed a keen interest in law and politics. Van Buren's early political career began at the age of 18 when he studied law under the mentorship of lawyer and politician Francis Sylvester. After passing the bar exam in 1703, he opened a law practice in Kinderhook. His political ambitions soon led him to local politics, and by 1812 he had been elected to the New York State Senate. It was during this time that Van Buren aligned himself with the Democratic-Republican Party, which later evolved into the Democratic Party. Van Buren's rise in New York politics was propelled by his role as a key member of the Albany Regency, a powerful political machine that dominated the state's politics. As the leader of the Regency, he proved adept at organizing political support and crafting policies that aligned with the interests of the Democratic Party. His ability to maintain party discipline earned him the nickname the Little Magician due to his political acumen and strategic maneuvering. Van Buren's influence expanded beyond New York, and in 1828 he was appointed Secretary of State under President Andrew Jackson. As Jackson's loyal ally, Van Buren played a central role in Jackson's administration, particularly in navigating the complexities of Jackson's relationships with his cabinet and political opponents. When Jackson's first term ended in 1832, Van Buren's political influence was significant enough to secure his election as vice president in Jackson's second term. During his vice presidency, Van Buren faced challenges, including tensions between Jackson and his cabinet, which resulted in the so-called Petticoat Affair, involving allegations of social impropriety with the wife of a cabinet member. Despite these issues, Van Buren managed to maintain his standing within Jackson's inner circle, which eventually propelled him to the presidency. In 1836, Van Buren ran for president as the Democratic candidate, succeeding his mentor, Andrew Jackson. He won the election by a narrow margin, defeating the Whig Party's candidate, William Henry Harrison, among others. As president, Van Buren inherited a nation that was still reeling from Jackson's policies, particularly his war on the National Bank and his controversial Indian Removal Act. Van Buren's presidency was defined by the economic turbulence that occurred during his first year in office. The economic policies of Andrew Jackson, particularly the decision to dismantle the Bank of the United States and redistribute federal funds into state-chartered banks, led to a financial crisis. When the Panic of 1837 struck, it resulted in widespread bank failures, high unemployment, and a severe depression. Van Buren's handling of the crisis proved to be one of his most significant challenges. In response to the panic, Van Buren championed the establishment of an independent treasury system, which sought to separate the federal government's finances from private banks. While the system would later prove effective in stabilizing the economy, it faced significant opposition from Whigs and some Democrats who criticized it for being too conservative and unresponsive to the needs of the economy. On the foreign policy front, Van Buren faced challenges with both European and Latin American powers. His administration navigated tensions with Great Britain over the Caroline Affair, a conflict involving the destruction of an American ship by Canadian rebels. Van Buren also faced disputes with Mexico over the annexation of Texas and the borders of the southwestern United States. In matters of slavery, Van Buren's stance was largely shaped by political expediency. While personally opposed to the expansion of slavery into new territories, he was cautious about taking strong action on the issue due to the political climate of the time. This moderation earned him the distrust of abolitionists, who saw him as too sympathetic to Southern interests, as well as of Southern Democrats, who feared he might support policies that would restrict slavery. Van Buren's presidency was marked by his failure to address the economic depression effectively. The Panic of 1837 continued throughout his term, and by 1840 he faced strong opposition in his bid for re-election. The Whig Party, capitalizing on public dissatisfaction with Van Buren's handling of the economy, nominated William Henry Harrison, who defeated Van Buren in a landslide victory. After his defeat in 1840, Van Buren's political career seemed to be in decline, but he remained active in politics. In 1848, he sought the presidency again, this time as the candidate of the Free Soil Party, which opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories. Though he did not win, Van Buren's campaign reflected his continued commitment to his political ideals, even if they were no longer in line with the major parties. Martin Van Buren's legacy is a mixed one. While his presidency was marred by the economic depression of the 1830s, his role in the development of the Democratic Party is undeniable. Van Buren helped shape the modern two-party system, establishing the Democratic Party as a dominant force in American politics. His establishment of the independent Treasury system was an important step in stabilizing the nation's finances, and his political strategies were key in consolidating the Jacksonian movement. However, Van Buren's inability to resolve the economic crisis of his presidency and his failure to take bold action on slavery marked significant shortcomings in his leadership. His political career, though long and influential, was ultimately overshadowed by the challenges of the time. Martin Van Buren passed away on July 24, 1862, at the age of 79. He remains an important figure in the history of the United States, remembered both for his political skill and for the challenges he faced during one of the nation's most tumultuous periods.